Hi, how are you? Last time I told you how I schedule my day. The basic idea is to reserve just very compact amount of time so that you push your concentration to the limit and you focus. The time that you spend behind your desk, you really focus. But we all know that it doesn't always go like that. So there are days that your mind is just wandering and you cannot concentrate, and it seems impossible to force yourself to do something, force yourself to concentrate to do the job, the main task that you have for that day. Well, in this video I thought that I give you some tips on how to break that lack of concentration and how try to avoid it in the future. There are many reasons why you lose your concentration in some days. Some days are like that you just wake up in the morning and everything starts to go south from the start. So the coffee is cold and you didn't have enough sleep and kids make a mess and don't find their things and keys are lost, and you get the drift. And then there are, of course, those days that you have something like more pressing in your mind all the time. Something is wrong with the family, somebody is ill, you have to plan the next weekend or Christmas or something like that, who is going where. So it's not easy to concentrate. We have our own things. You have yours, I have mine. Well, in that case, when I go to the office, open my emails, take that cup of coffee and sit down. And if I realize that I have been there for 15 minutes and nothing happens, I cannot write, I cannot think, I cannot analyze, I cannot start do what I should do, then the first thing that I do is usually take a glass of cold water, big glass, tall glass, and drink it. It somehow shakes our body and our mind to other position. If you have hot hands, you can wash your hands in cold water. I can't because I'm freezing all the time, in the winter at least. That's the easy way if your lack of concentration is because something small. But if you are anxious and you feel it in your body, you cannot stay still, then it's better to go and lie on the floor. Close your eyes and breathe deeply. You know the breathing exercise, breathe 1, 2, 3, 4 in and hold 4 and then exhale with counting 8. It's really effective. You should try if you haven't tried it already. It calms you down. But of course, sometimes we cannot breathe in that cycle, 4, 4, 8. We're too anxious, our body is too stressed. I think that many times the lack of concentration is actually lack of relaxation. So if we cannot put our body to rest, we cannot think, because we think about our body and it distracts us for what we have to think actually and what we have to concentrate in. And that's quite annoying, but that's also quite serious, so we cannot just skip that. But if you know that cold water doesn't help, you know that lying on the floor doesn't help, or you tried both, then I usually take a walk outside. Brisk walk in fresh air. If you can see the sky, if you can see the sun, if you can see trees. Just half an hour outside. And for that I have always a comfortable shoes at my office in the closet for that purpose only. If you don't like walking, or if you are more like an action type of person, running is fine too. Run for 20 minutes and when you get back to the office you are a new person. That I encourage you to try. I tried all these 4 and they work in their own scenarios. So it depends on what's keeping me from concentrating to my work. And of course there are the more serious things, like sometimes you know that you may be tired. Not tired in a way that I didn't sleep last night, but tired in a way that I have been tired for days, weeks, months, and I know that I will be tired until I get a decent break, whether it's Easter, Christmas, or summer holiday. But if you then sit down and you cannot concentrate, and you cannot think, and you feel exhausted, then it's worthwhile to take a day off. Just do what's absolutely necessary and go to town, sit in a cafe, watch people walking by. Do something totally like irrelevant and stupid. If you're a lady or if you're a man who likes lipsticks, go and buy yourself a new lipstick. They cost only a few quid. Do something fun. Think something out of the box. Go to a movie. See a day show. Do something that like shakes your mind off of the trouble that you are in. But now you are of course thinking that how is this effective or productive, or does good in anything if I start to, no, drinking cold water is a small thing, but lying on the floor and taking a jog in the middle of the day. But actually it is. If you think about it that way, that you have 4 hours for your main job, main task, and you realize that you cannot concentrate. You lie on the floor, you take a walk, it hops an hour. And if you are ready to work and you can concentrate after that half an hour walk and lying on the floor, then you still have 3 hours. You have 3 hours really effective time. But if you would have stayed in your office behind your desk and just try to concentrate, you might be there like 2 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours, 8, 10, 20 hours, and it doesn't go away. The lack of concentration doesn't go away by itself by just like brushing your teeth and trying harder. But if you try to distract yourself from the lack of concentration mood, then you can work again and you get done what you plan to do in the same day. But of course, if you have to take the day off, then, well, usually I can say that when I had to do that, the next day I was really in good shape. So then I could concentrate and then I got loads of it done in one day. So it's better to take a break and continue than just try, like aggressively try. Well, the reasonable question is how to avoid these kind of days as much as possible. That kind of days that you cannot concentrate, no matter what. Well, I'm very boring. And I say routine, routine, routine. So if you do these things, like I told you in the last video that I do, I wake up in the same time, I basically eat the same breakfast, I do all the same things every morning. And then I go to work and I take my coffee and then I sit down and then I concentrate. I have same things in my desk, I have same lights, I have same everything in my office every day. And it makes the concentration much better and easier because my mind is set up to that kind of position already. And with this kind of routines, we can educate our brain to be awake enough and energetic enough when we have to work. A good example of this, like educating our brain to do something, is morning pages. I read the book in the beginning of this year, Artist's Way, and it was written by a writer, of course. But her main work was to write scripts. And she had the problem that she had this kind of writer's block. And some days she couldn't write, and then she started to drink, and that's not good. But when she realized that, or when she made the epiphany, but when she started to write the morning pages, so every morning when you wake up, you take a pen and you write for half an hour or whatever it is for you, then you start the habit to just write, not think, just write. And it really works. I have done this now for, I think, 4 months. And I have always been a fluent writer, but it has made this starting to write more easy. So whenever I take a pen now and paper, I can write. And there comes a story, there comes a feeling from my head, there comes the whatever is in the middle of in that moment or that 24 hours. And it's not notes, it's full sentences, full stories. So I have educated my brain to make a story when I take a pen in my hand. And similarly, I have educated my brain to start my main task and be alert in the morning when I sit down on my desk. So a routine is really important. And then there are these kind of planning things. I don't know about you, but every day is not the same. So Monday is the worst. I cannot concentrate on Monday, not half as effectively as the rest of the days. And sometimes, or for somebody, it might be in the end of the week, when you are already thinking about the weekend and what you are going to do your free time. It depends, at least for me. Sometimes the end of the week is just like fuss, but some other times the end of the week is really the more effective, the more productive, because then I get more done. It's like I can push, because this is the last day, I can push a little bit more to get things ready. I have the feeling that I need to get something ready, and then I do a load of things in the last day and with the last 2 hours. But it depends. But of course, I plan accordingly. So Monday is something that is not so hard, or it's continuous from Friday or Saturday. And then the more demanding work is Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And then the rest of the week is, if it's good, it's good. If it's not so good, it's not so good. But it's way better than it would be without the daily schedule. And the one thing that we should realize, and I think that it really has a long shadows, is this feeling of failure. If you sit and try and try and try and get nothing done, you feel like a failure. If you do not try to somehow cut the cycle of things rolling on in your head, for example, if you have something that you have to do and you think about it all the time, then set a time when you do it. So if it's something from your personal life, like at 4 p.m. or 6 p.m., decide that I will do that then, whatever it is. So it's out of your head when you have to work. But it's better to do these kind of maybe childish sounding things, like drinking water and lying down and walking and whatever not, than to sit just and try and feel like a failure. Because if you do these things for an hour, the hour is lost, yes, but the rest of the day is success again. And that's one thing that is important, and you know it. One thing that helps us concentrate also is setting goals and setting these kind of treats. If you have some long thing that you have to do for days or weeks or months, or if you do something for months, then you have to like cut it to smaller sections. Then reward yourself. When you get to this point, when you have done this for 2 weeks, then you go to a movie or go to your favorite cafe or do something fun at home, or cook a festive meal or something like that. It's very important to reward ourselves for what we do, because just having money for it isn't enough. We have to, or for some people it is, but for me it isn't, because it's here now and then it's gone. It's like that when you have a family. It doesn't stay. But reward yourself, even with the little things, because that's something that you can educate yourself to do too. That you can educate yourself to really enjoying those moments. Like if I think that, oh, I will go to that cafe and I will eat that pastry and I will take that extra coffee. Then when I have the work done after 2 weeks and I go to that cafe, it feels like a celebration. And you can educate yourself to that too. And that helps to concentrate, and that helps to motivate. So that was all for now. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have some things that you would like to share, some tips how to concentrate, please write them down below. I hope you have a great day, and I see you soon. Goodbye.